now that we have established that there is a large opportunity in the Hispanic market, both at a national and regional level, you might be wondering if you have the capacity to capture this opportunity. The reality is that tapping into the Hispanic market opportunity is simpler than you may think. Hispanics are somewhat different, but they are not completely dissimilar to the rest of the opportunity in the newly eligible, currently uninsured market. The conventional wisdom that the Hispanic market is entirely different is false. As we just saw, the total population that will be newly eligible for subsidies will tend to be younger, our coveted millennials, for example. While the occupations might be somewhat different than those among non-Hispanics, Hispanics will also share a similar socioeconomic level, as well as a lack of experience making health insurance decisions. Aside from jumping into a quite complicated system for the first time, they are likely to be leery of sharing health insurance costs with the government. While this vantage point is different than the perspective of the members you currently have in your book of business, it is a commonality that all new entrants share regardless of ethnicity. These are the largest roadblocks to a smooth transition under ACA and possibly the most pertinent to success. Understanding and acknowledging these commonalities will frame your efforts and the development of a common universal language, if you will, that sets the needs of the previously uninsured as the foundation for your efforts. Once we have understood the similarities across subsegments, we can appreciate the differences that matter to your business. It is important to understand what are the specific triggers that motivates Hispanic to adopt health insurance. First, there are distinct cultural imperatives to consider. There are several imperatives, but let's talk about chicoismo, for example, which suggests that kids come first. This can translate into adults not adopting affordable health insurance for themselves if they cannot extend benefits to their children under the same plan. It is important to handle this in outreach and messaging. When it comes to pertinent attitudes and behavior that must be considered, you have Hispanics believe in fate. The strong belief that some ailments may be predetermined and unavoidable because, well, my grandma always had it. This may delay seeking advice and defers medical visits, while commonly treating many ailments with homeopathic natural remedies along with a grin and bear it attitude. Wellness takes on a whole different meaning under this paradigm. And the last element I'd like to share with you today is Hispanics' tendency to be slow to trust those they don't know. You might think that it's not uncommon to other ethnicities, and you're right, but it's a question of degree and how they overcome their lack of trust. This trait is much more prevalent among Hispanics and non-Hispanics. The silver lining is that Hispanics rely heavily on family and friends and certain figures of authority, such as priests, community leaders, and even pharmacists. So an influencer strategy is likely to suit you well, and we'll touch on that in the upcoming slides. So the commonalities across newly subsidized segments, as well as relevant distinct triggers to adoption, need to converge into an integrated total market plan with a differentiated value proposition. The reality is that many plans share the same delivery system, and that the new health insurance marketplace makes it harder for plans to differentiate themselves. This highlights the need to reassert your value proposition to ensure relevance to the new market. Then you need to ensure that you have an integrated plan that enhances your specific distribution capabilities and a communications plan delivering a consistent voice and message in outreach and engagement efforts. So your integrated plan needs a layered target to not only include potential members, but also key influencers. Messaging must incorporate cultural nuances pertinent to adoption and make sure you're not just banking on rational benefits of affordability, but also establishing a deep emotional connection with its populations. Your value proposition and messaging must permeate into a wraparound plan to engage the market and build differentiation amidst a somewhat vanilla exchange. Customer experience will also be critical to generate the differentiated engagement, and we'll talk about that also in a minute. So, all right, we're almost ready for the race. What have we learned so far? We defined the scale of the opportunity. The Hispanic market is going to be large, 7 million of the 24 million newly insured. We also showed how millennials and Gen Xers are also going to be critical bases to win, and that a significant portion of those generations will also be Latino.